The soil beneath our feet is dying. The importance of soil is often understated or completely overlooked, but healthy soils can prove to turn the tide in our battle against climate change. Even though natural causes can be attributed towards soil degradation, most factors attributing towards soil degradation are human in nature. Global upscaling of intensive agriculture and pesticide use is one of those factors straining our soils. In this video essay, I will describe the situation in the Netherlands and show how policy change can remediate our damaged soils. The Netherlands is located in northwestern Europe, bordering Germany, Belgium and the North Sea. Because of the North Sea, the climate of the Netherlands throughout the year is mild, with variable amounts of sunshine and rain. Some of the most important rivers of Europe, such as the Meuse and the Rhine, flow through the Netherlands into the North Sea. As rivers flow, they grind down any rocks they take with them into smaller particles. Because the Netherlands is located at the delta of the rivers, the rocks have been grinded down all the way to the smallest particle, clay. These particles settle to form the soil, resulting in a wetland landscape with high or moderate clay contents in the soil around the rivers. Soils with high or moderate clay contents have proven to be quite suitable for agriculture, as the density of the clay particles aid in the retention of water, necessary for plant growth. But this property of clay soils is a double-edged sword, as the ability to retain water also comes with the ability to retain mineral fertilizer and pesticides. The soil in the Netherlands has some of the highest nitrogen surplus in Europe due to systemic overusage of mineral fertilizer. Nitrogen in itself is not harmful, plants need it for growth. But when too much nitrogen enters the soil, species living on nitrogen-rich soils can outcompete soil organisms necessary or useful for plants, killing the biodiversity and limiting plant growth. Nitrogen may also seep into the groundwater and be transported, affecting off-site organisms. Soil contaminations due to pesticides follow a similar pattern. Non-target organisms die because of the toxins, contaminating the soil, and off-site organisms may be affected when the pesticides enter groundwater reserves. So what is currently happening to improve the situation, and what must we do further? Since the 1970s, the Dutch government introduced several proactive policies overseeing soil contamination and regulating fertilizer and pesticide use. In terms of undoing the damage done, in 1993 the Dutch government proposed to remediate all critically endangered soils before 2010. However, due to discovery of more polluted sites, the goal has been shifted to 2030. In a scenario with the current policies in place, progress will be made, but it will be slow. Remediation of polluted soils is an inherently slow process, and the current policies don't cut deep enough to make apparent change in a 20-year time span. Homogenization of the biodiversity will continue, which will have lasting effects on the environment and in return on us. The first obvious measure the government could enact is a stricter regulation on the use of fertilizer and pesticides, for both industrial farmers and private owners of land. This would mean that less fertilizer and pesticides enter the soil, which is a positive for the environment, but it could also negatively impact the socio-economic status of farmers, as reduction of fertilizer and pesticide use might reduce the crop yield. Stricter regulation is also hard to implement, as the government would need to be able to oversee every plot of land. The second measure the government could enact is more investment into the development of organic pesticides. Contrary to synthesized pesticides, organic pesticides can be broken down by the local soil organisms, preventing on-site and off-site soil contamination. Organic pesticides are, however, more expensive and less efficient compared to their chemically synthesized counterparts. So farmers would need to buy these organic pesticides in larger bulk, costing more money. The government could promote the use of organic pesticides by, for example, offering subsidies for the farmers who make the switch. Both these measurements will help in improving the soil quality of the Dutch soils. The main stakeholders of the soil issues in the Netherlands are the farmers and the Dutch government. But what about you, the audience? It might not be obvious at first glance, but high public awareness of a problem has influence on the government to change things. So the more people are aware of the situation with the Dutch soils, the more the government is inclined to act on it. It is important that we act now, because healthy soils are literally and figuratively the fundament of life.